Steve
Good.
can show you the world. Shining, shimmering splendor. His name is Steven. Play the disclaimer, please, Steve.
I think this is why everybody shows up, just to hear you sing. Why don't you make a Christmas album? You have a great voice.
You know, I appreciate that, but can you imagine me trying to do Sinatra?
I think you should.
Start spreading the news. Steve something today. No? Steve wants to be a part of it. New York, New York. No?
See, you should cut an album. 100%.
See, people are saying no.
No, people are saying yes. Anyway, you got a lot to get into. Once again, please read the disclaimer. If you want to hear more Matt singing, maybe we can do a 5-minute segment and he'll take requests. So read the disclaimer. We're not financial advisors. We have no idea what we're talking about. Please do your own due diligence. Now, we're going to bring it up. Nobody knew what we were getting into today. Okay.
Steve, before you talk about something, I knew something that was happening today.
Yeah.
Microsoft was going to zero. Did you see this?
We're going to talk about Microsoft going to zero in a minute, but let's Truth Social 40-something minutes ago from President Trump. Based on conversations, I'm not even going to try to read the names. I'm going to butcher them. Apologize. Not good with names. Requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz. I agreed to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. On behalf of the United States of America, as president and also representing the countries of the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem close to resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. 6:32 p.m.
What are you thinking, Steve?
Well, Matt, I'll tell you what the markets are thinking. The markets are ripping right now.
Did Microsoft go to zero, or?
I mean, I'm actually going to log into Robinhood. I actually like their Cortex for the visuals. Give me one sec.
The Legends platform, or just the regular?
Yeah, the Legends platform. I mean,
I hate it. I like it, actually. It's growing on me.
I think the visuals are pretty good. It gives you everywhere in one place. I guess I don't know my password.
Never did.
Do I not? No,
it's all been fake trades, guys.
Seriously? I don't know anything.
Steven, I know you're excited, but don't throw things. You ever written down? What?
What do you mean?
1984, Steve? You ever written down?
I don't know, maybe.
Speaking of 1984, can I just say I have an ounce of hope for our school system because I saw my nephew having to read the novel 1984. Anyway, just talking to myself.
No, I heard you.
I'll just turn around and start talking to the wall.
You have faith in the school system. because your nephew is being forced to read 1984. You think I can't do two things at the same time?
I know you can, because today ends in Y, and you're better than me.
You know what, Matt? Only on days that end in Y. Just remember that. Only on days that end in Y. All right. We're in. Let's bring it up.
I had to reset my clock.
No bueno. We are in extended hours. The market is ripping. Broadcom up $30. Meta up 22. Microsoft going to zero, up 882.
$0.
Micron almost at 400. Tanner must be happy. The community's got to be happy with Nebius up $12. Next decade, a little red. ServiceNow is up. Nvidia 516. Palantir up 7. The Qs are up 16. Reddit is up 8. Rocket Lab almost 70. SoFi is up almost $1. Tesla's up. The spiders are up. Zeta's up. I got to tell you, where's SPY? Where's SPY at?
Good old VG down 10%. I love to see it.
Almost 2.5%. The S&P is up right now after hours. The markets are ripping. I mean, look, we didn't know what to expect. Okay. This could have went anyway. For anybody to say they knew this was going to happen, BS. Nobody knew what was going to happen. Okay. Did he overreact this morning? Was it additional pressure? Nobody knows. My feeling is that something wasn't getting agreed to and he flipped out. But we got a 2-week ceasefire. The market really likes it right now. And I'm more importantly than making money, more importantly than the market going up, I am just happy that the war is put on hold. And that means that the loss of life will likely not happen tonight. So, not to mention, 90 plus million people will have electricity. You got to think about the women and children and all the civilians. So, very happy for that.
Eloquently stated, Steve. Can't say anything else other than that. Well said.
You know what it deserves, Matt?
Some milk.
That blueberry pomegranate.
Oh,
that's what it deserves. That blueberry pomegranate.
Fucking red right through that shit.
What's wrong?
You can't make this shit up, Steve.
What do you mean?
Give us a little teaser.
I mean, it's delicious. So thank you everybody for being here. Really appreciate the support. We got a lot of the regulars here. We got Chels, who was probably first. I don't know who was first, but she was probably first. We got Michelle. We got Rusty. We got Missy Ledger. We got Hollis, who I guess is getting out of timeout. We'll see. We'll see if Luke is going to be back for the playoffs. We got Rambler. We got Dookie Pie. We got Lena. We got a lot of people here. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Steve, you're not first in the chat. You're last.
Ricky Bobby's famous words, man.
No, but seriously, eloquently stated. I mean, at the end of the day, I think you said it very, very perfectly. Like 90 million people. Not only that, but like the security of not just 90 million people within Iran, but in the surrounding countries as well. And, for people talking about more what we like to talk about, which is, the pounds of energy and how this is going to reflect on the stock market. Yeah, I think to me, my portfolio is mostly consistent of non-LNG stocks. So yes, I'm going to take a slight hit when it comes to LNG because, far end of 26 TTF and JKM prices are likely to come down. That's the title transfer facility for European gas imports, and JKM is the Japanese Korea marker for liquefied natural gas. So that those will take a hit in the outer months, but at the end of the day, excited to see a lot of stocks that have been hampered by the uncertainty that's going on. But I think from a geopolitical standpoint, like you stated, no additional fighting on other countries as well, because Oman's been hit, UAE's been hit, Dubai's been hit, so many different Bahrain's been hit, Iraq's been hit. So many different countries have been impacted by this skirmish in the Middle East. So fingers crossed that it can get a little bit safer tonight, and then hopefully within the next 2 weeks resolved overall.
I agree with you, Matt. I agree. There's a lot of things to consider. I am very happy that we're in peace talks. Unfortunate situations happened. Obviously, we wish we never had to go down this road or that it didn't happen. We may never know the actual data or the actual reasons. We just got to look forward. Hopefully, the 2-week ceasefire extends. We can get back to business. But we'll see. The real question is, does the buying keep up tomorrow, or is this a head fake? Is this going to be a sell the news? I don't know. We're going to have to see.
Yeah, I guess that's somebody's asking specifically, is this a reversal? I still think we're not out of the woods 100%. Like, I'm not saying that we're not going to rally from this. I think we will see some, but you were starting to see some uncertainty in the markets since the beginning of the year. And a lot of that, I think, stemmed from the excessive amount of CapEx you're seeing being spent in the technology. And I don't necessarily know how that's going to pan out as we enter into earnings. We started to see earnings this week, and we'll start to see more from the banks and some energy companies starting next week. And then by the end of the month, we'll start to have some technology companies reporting. I'm not 100% certain if we're out of the woods yet. Sorry,
I'm going to cut you off, unfortunately, Matt.
No, you're fine.
We may be out of the woods.
Well, with oil prices coming down and
WTI is down 17 right now. I mean,
that's, you have to think there's a lot of volume. I mean, people that are probably wondering what's going on here. TTF is probably delayed, so it's probably shut, and so that's probably why it's not moving right now, and it's still up. But I mean, you're talking about millions of barrels that were previously being locked in through the Strait of Hormuz, and even more so, liquefied natural gas, which was supplying Korea and Japan, that being able to move. And a lot of people earlier this week, and sorry if I'm going up more on an energy tangent, but that's all I do every day, look at it. But the last few cargoes were supposed to be showing up here in about a week or two in Europe. And, it's not to say that Europe is mostly reliant on the Middle East for their LNG or their gas imports, but it is like 5 to 10%, specific coming from Qatar. And so with that, they're going to start to fill up their storage, as well as using it just for normal day-to-day summer operations. So we would have started to see another a leg up potentially if that persisted through the next week or two. Thing I'm curious about, though, is it's going to take a long time for a lot of these LNG facilities to start churning out gas. So there's still going to be some short-term impacts, because LNG, you don't just turn it back on immediately. It's a lot of pressurization versus oil. I mean, it's liquid. You can store it a lot easier. You can move it a lot easier. There's a lot easier ways to store liquid oil than there is liquefying natural gas. So I feel like you're going to see impacts from oil come down way faster, which we'll see what the impact was in March, here on Friday with CPI coming out. But at the end of the day, you're going to see, I think, a large hangover associated with this LNG impact, because it's going to take some time, and you have 80 MTPA shut in for almost the entirety of a month. It's going to take some time for those normal supply chains. One, you have to think those LNG tankers are still on the water. They have yet to deliver because they've been caught in the Strait of Hormuz. And then two, they have to now make the 14-day, 13-day journey to wherever they're going, and then the return trip back to resume normal operations. So we're talking a month between now and when those LNG tankers actually come back. And then you have to think about the actual facility ramping up as well. So it'll be interesting what what transpires from an LNG perspective, but it'll definitely take a lot longer to resolve itself than the oil price. I think oil price, you could see it go back into the 70s pretty quickly, unless I don't know, unless the ceasefire is something that's short lived, which I hope it's not. I hope it's a long term, if not a final solution, and it gets resolved over the next 2 weeks.
Oil back to 75 would be incredible. It would really be incredible.
It's hard to say because the world is awash with oil, and I've been saying this for quite some time. And there's a reason why it was dipping into the below the $60 range before the skirmish happened. So I still think because that's a ceasefire and not an actual agreement. If that means, like, you know what I mean, like a final agreement where like it's finalized, like it's a ceasefire, doesn't mean everything's completely. I still think that there's going to be a hangover, and it'll drip into the 70s. But yeah, I don't think long term will dip back into the 60s unless something is finalized.
Oh, I would agree that something needs to be finalized for this to stay like this. We'll see what happens. So, would you like? I know you're hot on this topic, so I'm going to give you the floor. I know you're hot on a topic because Microsoft is going to zero. And we joke, you joke a lot about things going to zero, but the rumor on the street, or at least on X these days, is that Microsoft is going to zero. Matt, you have the floor, sir.
Well, this is very interesting. So, I stated this like last week or something like that with you. About a big buy that I made, and it might be one of the single largest buys I've ever made. I mean, I've purchased hundreds of thousands of dollars of individual securities before in a specific ticker symbol, right? Like, but I don't think I've ever made a large tranche of like a $70,000 buy before, in such a short order or in one single trade. So I was pretty proud of myself because I pulled the trigger and I had the cash to do it, and so. I think it was pretty wise buying Microsoft at 360 when the highs was from 542. I mean, you're talking about a very substantial move down from all-time highs. Did it warrant 542? Probably not. It was probably ahead of itself. But the thing that enticed me, and we look at this all the time when we look at Steve's secret sauce table when it compares against the different Mag 7 or just other companies in general. Microsoft's at a pretty decent valuation here, coupled with the amount of capital expenditure that's going into the ground. I'm anticipating you see very substantial returns on capital invested. The thing that's kind of interesting is that immediate hate came out of nowhere. It wasn't a very viral post, but it got like 1,000 likes almost. And you just start seeing people coming out of the woodwork being like, "You're an idiot," which is very true, but very factual statement there. But a lot of people having kind of really a very dense view on what Microsoft's moat is in the technology space. I don't think people fully recognize that with AI, yes, there might be an impact on certain parts of Office and utilizing applications, desktop applications that help with enterprise software. But it's not going to zero immediately, one. And then two, even if AI does, say, massively impact Microsoft to the point of its non-existence, where do you think all that data storage will come from? All the data that needs to be stored to be able to activate all this artificial intelligence that is, say, going to replace all the software that ruins Microsoft 365 enterprise software. I think it's very far-fetched, but if that's the case. And then secondly, where's all that compute going to come from? So it's not just the storage piece, but it's also the compute and being able to actually run the engines that keep this AI piece going. And then are people going to magically stop playing video games? So it's very interesting, the sort of comments that I got about how I'm an idiot and Microsoft is not going anywhere near its all-time highs, let alone my prediction of $1,500 a share within the next 10 years or so, which is about I believe, an 11 or $11.5 trillion valuation at the current share count. But a lot of interesting sort of thoughts. I don't think people fully understand that Microsoft is massively valuable, and a keyboard warrior, in my opinion, is likely to not necessarily know nearly as much as a veteran like Satya Nadella, who has completely turned around Microsoft, in my opinion, and is very, very tactical and understanding of the current landscape that we're in, specifically when it comes to AI and the collaborations that they've had with OpenAI and many other companies. So I thought it was very interesting the amount of, I would say, majority hate on that post of people telling me that they don't agree with a $1,500 price target in 10 years. I even had somebody message me again today saying, hey, I just took a screenshot. And the stock has been up, by the way, since I bought it at $360 a share, saying that it's not $1,500. Meanwhile, the post that I had just prior to that to this individual was that I would say it was in 2035, 2036 when the $1,500 share price was going to be. So I just find it very interesting of how dense some of the retail community is. And yeah, that's pretty much the lay of that land. So once again, when Palantir was supposed to go to zero, Rocket Lab was to go to zero, next decade was supposed to go to zero. Now Microsoft, Steve, is going to zero.
Would you like my thoughts on the matter?
I would love your thoughts.
There's a terminology, okay, in the alternative asset investment class that they use for this. Would you like to know what the terminology is?
Sure.
Timmyism. The Timmies are coming out to play, Matt. They're Timmies, okay? We're going to rip off the word Timmy from Rudy because he's correct. That's what's happening right now. The Timmies are coming after you. And do you know who little Timmy is?
Who are the little Timmies out there, Steve?
The little Timmies, Matt, are the ones that are not investing. They are the ones that have never worked at a large company. They're the ones that sit on their computer using Google Suite because it's free and think that why would anybody use Office when Google Suite is free? They're the ones that think you're just going to vibe code away cybersecurity platforms, and the CEO of a large company is just going to say, you're a genius. Let's get rid of Palo Alto, or let's get rid of CrowdStrike because two guys named Timmy and Timmy Jr. in IT vibe coding something that can catch a virus. I mean, there's a reason why decisions are made behind closed doors by a very select few of people. There's a reason why large-scale RFPs are conducted at a certain level in a company. There's a reason why. Now, you work at a very large company, okay? When your company goes and does something, do they go ask the frontline workers or the junior analysts what they think about a decision?
They ask me generally, but no, I'm just kidding. But no,
you're not one of those positions, though.
No, they generally make it pretty high up.
Right. So all the 20-year-olds that are in companies that are using all these products, screaming they hate Salesforce, screaming they hate this, screaming they hate that, their opinion doesn't matter. Okay? It does not matter in the decision-making process. So you have a bunch of Timmies coming after you. That's all it is.
Steve, question for you. Somebody that is very much into enterprise software, being yourself, at your current role, does Google Suite integrate at all with SAP?
That I don't know.
Oh, damn it. I thought you were going to say no.
Well, I'm not going to say something. Tanner, I'll send you a link if you want to come on and chat for a little bit. No, I don't know. We don't use SAP. We use Workday.
Okay. I thought you guys did.
No, we use Workday. So I can't tell you. I haven't looked at the SAP product since 2018.
I like the Big Lebowski comments. I feel like the Big Lebowski walking through the office sometimes when I put these on.
Great movie, by the way.
Nobody fucks with the Jesus, Steve.
Dude, John Goodman in that movie is so underrated.
It's really sad to see him getting older, but he was
No.
he's a great actor.
You know, we may have shot a little episode for basis points today.
I heard the rumor.
And I may have told Amit that I'm asking the question because he's not allowed to. And of course, the movie that the guest said, Amit had never seen.
I guess I'll have to wait.
You're gonna have to wait. I'm not gonna tell you what the movie is. I'm not gonna tell you who the guest is.
Or no, you know what? Don't tell me.
Be surprised. It is an all-time classic. I applaud the selection because I love the movie.
Like, it's going to be a movie I've seen, right?
I would hope so. If you haven't, I will be very disappointed, Matt.
Well, you're always disappointing me, Steve. But I don't know what else is new. But please, guys, if you could do me a quick favor. I'm
getting harassed right now. I'm getting bullied. I'm getting harassed.
By whom, Steve?
I am being told that I am a Timmy with Rocket Lab.
How does it make you feel?
I'm just saying. I am being called a Timmy right now.
I think you even saw something else in there.
It's not nice. What else was there? Not nice at all.
All I can say is, please, let's get basis points to 10K.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
9,200, and it should be much higher. Surprised that the Robinhood Vlad CEO interview doesn't have 50,000 views. It was really good. All three were phenomenal. And so
I think that each one is unique and each one is really good. I was so impressed today. I was impressed with all of them, but today was different I don't want to say too much. I don't want to lead into anything and I don't want to give anything away, but what we discussed is not an area that I practice a lot. I was absorbing everything like a sponge. I was so happy and I learned quite a bit today. So I highly suggest everybody watch it when it comes out. It was awesome.
Well, it's exciting because I mean, I feel like you and I have a very similar mindset, different but similar in many ways. So I'm sure I'm going to learn a lot from it as well, because if you're saying you learned a lot, you're a pretty intelligent guy. We look at things, like I said, similarly but differently at the same time. If you're learning a lot, like I know a lot of, how do I say this? I see things from your perspective. I don't necessarily always agree because we look at things slightly differently, and I'm more risk on with certain things. So I get it, but I wouldn't say at all that what you do is wrong. It's right for you. So you saying that you've learned a lot, I'm very excited to see the episode. For those that are curious, like myself, is this going to be a quick turnaround? Is it going to be a couple days?
I'm trying to get Tanner on. Tanner's now bullying me also. Captain Sleepy Time is bullying me.
First and foremost, I'm just excited that Tanner got Dan Ives on.
Same here.
That's a phenomenal. I need to watch it. I didn't have the opportunity yet. I saw it midday when I was scrolling through X. So congratulations to him. I have a soft spot in my heart for Dan. One, because he's a Penn Stater, and then two, I like his ability to cut through some of the bullshit that some people just like always throw at him for some reason. So I'm very excited to see, and I'm always very happy to listen to his perspective on things. And I like Tanner's perspective on a lot of things as well. So I'm sure it's good. It was a really good interview.
Tanner is one of the most underrated people out there.
I'm just, to be 100% honest, I mean, the fact that I'm able to rub shoulders or kiss the feet of some of these people I get on with is insane. I'm being completely honest. Like, it's really cool that I can like literally text Tanner and I like ask him, I'm like, what should I do to sleep better? And he'll message me back. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, I mean that with all sincerity. Really good group of people that we found. And
no, it's a great group. The community is amazing. Oh, thank you so much. I am glad that you think the mic is good. I picked Tanner in the mids of brains quite a bit and made the decision to upgrade it. I may have to get a different camera. We'll see. I got to play with the settings on this one. Jury's still out. But the mic, I really like.
Yeah.
Tanner, I do not see you backstage, and I know you're in the chat, and I see you read the last message. So come on down, Tanner. The audience wants you here.
Yeah, Tanner's got a great spot midday. It's like 1 p.m. Eastern for anybody that doesn't follow.
Yep.
And
I think he goes on at 1:30.
1:30?
Or 1:30, yeah. Oh, you say his name enough, he appears.
What's up, good looking?
How's it going, Matt?
Good to see you, brother.
Dude,
Congrats.
It's great to see you. I appreciate you guys hyping me up. That was nice.
No, congrats on the Dan Ives thing, man. Give us a little flavor. What did you guys talk about? I'm looking forward to listening to it later.
So unfortunately, I had to talk about a variety of topics. However, I would have just picked his brain on NVIDIA. But no, we talked about everything. A bunch of the Mag 7 names, Microsoft, Apple, a lot of NVIDIA, a lot of AI, a lot of the cloud names, cybersecurity. It was pretty well-rounded, but in, the space that I still like.
Is he still in Asia? I thought he was in Asia.
No, he was, I think, headed to Asia whenever we had the conversation.
Got it.
And so he was just in his house. He's got a little man cave, I think, in the basement.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
But it was a great conversation. I'll have to, I don't even think I've retweeted it yet. So I'm trying to, I don't know X the way that Evan does. So I'm getting some tips.
Specifically around.
I don't know how to share a video where the video shows up, but it has like their tag underneath. I think it has to do with something with copying the video address. But every time I've done it on desktop, it either works on desktop or mobile. I don't remember which one. I don't want to mess it up. So I usually reach out to someone like Evan or Amit to let me know how to actually use that platform.
Now, I haven't talked to you. So have you been hedging at all? Or are you just, I know you, I think.
Tanner, hedging
I'm not
in
smart enough.
Sentence?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
We're in the same boat. Like people are like, "Oh, you got to take some money off of it." I'm just like, dude, I'm not smart enough. Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? I just always buy.
No, I know that a lot of people say that the stock doesn't know you own it, but for some reason the stock knows whenever I sell, and then that's whenever it rips. Specifically me. So, I don't try to do it. Anytime I get fancy, it ends up burning me. So while being patient, it doesn't look like the most sophisticated play, but it's actually what works out best for me. And like, I've been doing this for a while now. Not saying that I'm doing it the right way, but it's what works for me. And I just don't want to break that. I don't want to get smart. Anytime I try to outsmart the markets or try to understand it in areas that I'm not really caught up on, I usually get burned. So,
I think you did something smart here, buddy, considering you bought more Micron at the low and dollar cost averaged into it because you had conviction. It's up $25 right now.
Dude, I have so much conviction on the AI play. I've actually thought of, and I'm not even kidding, like I think SoFi is going to rebound. But in the ways that I think AI is going to rebound, I honestly have thought about full porting Nebius, NVIDIA, Micron, like a lot of the hyperscalers, and just going all in. Like I'm getting convicted.
So Tanner,
but whenever Anthropic shows ARR going from 9 billion to 30 billion,
right?
And then
after just reporting it.
Sorry?
After just reporting it. I mean, it's crazy.
Crazy. And now they're talking about better models. Sundar Pichai is coming out and saying that we're going to potentially see major breakthroughs for agentic processes in 2027. Like we haven't already seen it.
But think about it like this. If this is what we have for the public now, what do you think that they have at their company and how advanced their models are building new models?
Crazy.
That's what people don't understand. And here's the other thing. I agree. We're not bullish enough on AI. You have not seen the thing I built. I need to sit down with you and show you. Matt saw it a couple of days ago, and it's vastly different now. So I built a backup file of it. Over 62,000 lines of code have been written for this product that I built. It is so insane. Okay.
Yeah.
I showed it to our guests today, and
For whom you won't tell me.
And the guest said to me, "This is incredible, and I could probably sell it as a subscription service."
Yeah.
Like and I've never taken a coding class. I've never taken any computer science class. The possibility of what you're able to do with AI now, and it's only going to get more advanced, and this is the worst it's ever going to be. And next week, all the advances that happen over the next week, it'll be the worst that it ever is next week. We're not bullish enough. We need so much more compute. I am vibe coding away. I have the other computer vibe coding right now as we talk. We are not bullish enough.
Have you vibe coded much, Tanner, or not so much?
I have through things like Base 44 and Perplexity Computer. I was playing around with those. But in terms of like building full-on applications that are public-facing, no. But a lot of internal tools like my BM&R spreadsheets and website traffic and stuff, those are all just automated through Perplexity Computer now.
Website traffic for like your personal website, or?
No. I have a website tracker for a bunch of the fintechs that I track. It's just through SimilarWeb.
I'm sorry, guys. We have news we have to discuss. I hate the media so much. So now Trump's going off. I apologize, everybody, if you don't want to hear this. Trump's going off about CNN. The alleged statement put out by CNN World News is a fraud, as CNN well knows. The false statement was linked to a fake news site from Nigeria and, of course, immediately picked up by CNN and blared out as legitimate headline. The official statement by Iran was just released and posted on Truth below. Authorities are now looking to determine whether or not a crime is committed on the issuance of the fake CNN World statement, or was it a sick rogue player? CNN is being ordered to immediately withdraw this statement with full apologies for their, as usual, terrible reporting. Results of the investigation will be announced in the near future, President Donald Trump. And they just put out, as of 25 minutes ago, the official statement from Tehran. And it says, if attacks against Iran are halted, our powerful armed forces will cease their defensive operations. For a period of 2 weeks, safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz will be possible via coordination with Iran's armed forces and with due consideration of technical limitations.
What exactly did CNN?
I have no idea.
Also, you are being rated by Amit.
Yes,
I have
you're being
no
rated
idea what CNN put out, but you would think, and look, I don't know what they put out. Look at everybody coming from Amit and Jason's Technical Tuesday. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it. I don't know what they put out, but you would think that any news network that has a budget of any of these big news networks would be able to at least fact check over the course of a minute or two before they put something out. Like, they're not losing viewers if they wait a minute, that the guy's going to go crazy if you put something out fake, especially today of all days. Why would you do that? But markets are still up. Markets are still ripping. We do have a ceasefire, it looks like. So markets are doing good. The SPY is up 2%. It's fading a little bit. It was up almost 2.5%. So it's fading a little bit.
Still above 600 on the Qs.
Yep. And Tanner's baby NVIDIA, 183.37.
Yeah.
Matt's little baby Rocket Lab just broke 70.
There you go.
Next decade is under 8. VG is under 15, but SoFi 17-18 in the after hours.
There you go.
There we go.
It's funny to be celebrating the 17s because on the way down, this was a nightmare. Like,
we're celebrating 17 like we didn't just come from 33.
Yeah.
It is still pretty astonishing that I went from 33 to 16, 17, but 33 was absurd. So
we were in the 14. We were like 1489 or something. It was wild. But actually I have to upload another video on SoFi. The amount of data that I'm seeing in terms of their traffic right now is incredible. All-time highs on Google Trends, all-time highs for website traffic, all-time highs for app downloads. So I think we're going to see a big bump up in new members as well.
Tanner, the website traffic, is this the most website traffic we've seen?
Ever, like by a long shot. Like we did a leap step in terms of daily traffic.
Good day. Thank you very much for the memberships gifted. I truly appreciate it.
I got to make sure I'm in your chat right now because I want to catch one of those gifted subs.
The members only is going to be very robust starting this weekend, most likely. So thank you very much.
So Tanner, I have a question for you. Do you think Microsoft's going to zero? And if not, why?
No, I mean, I like what replaces them? OpenAI. Like, I think Microsoft's here for the long term. I'm a purchaser of them here, and there's some things that are not going to get replaced almost assuredly, and that's going to be things like, well, one, their stake in OpenAI, which is also like 17x for them already. Microsoft Azure, they have just so many aspects that I don't think are going away. And I think that people are underestimating how there's been so many times throughout Microsoft's history where someone has put out a product that has been better than theirs, but yet they just keep on trucking. And they like, I think Microsoft is probably one of those companies that has been counted out for like decades and decades, and then they just continue to execute and never give up and constantly iterate. And so I think Microsoft's always a company that I would never bet against. I've never made a stake in them, but because of the stance that they're taking on artificial intelligence, their expertise in being able to set up compute, the fact that they're going to have their own custom silicon, I would not bet against any of the hyperscalers right here. Google, Microsoft, AWS, any of them. Like, I think sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I tend to agree. I think the hyperscalers / mega caps, it's just hard for me to agree with the idea of betting against a company that's figured out a way to generate 100 billion plus in cash from operations. It's hard to, and go down the road of AI. So if AI is going to be the most dominant technological advance we've ever seen, and you have 4 companies that control the majority of the data centers out there that AI needs to run, okay? Amazon, Microsoft, Alphabet, and Oracle. You can even throw Meta in there too, even though they're not the hosting side. Why are we going to get bearish on the companies that are essential for the future of compute? In addition to everything else they do, it doesn't make sense why we think that these companies are going to fail when they've grown into the largest companies in the world and no other company can compete with them. When you think about the amount of CapEx that a Microsoft or an Alphabet or an Amazon has deployed in order to get here, who is going to compete with them? You would have to be a psychopath to go to investors to even try to raise money to do that. The probability is so slim. And for anybody thinking that a company can come out of the woodwork, good luck with that. I mean, there's a reason neoclouds are working. They're not in competition with Microsoft, Amazon, or Alphabet. They're adjacent. They're supplementing. There's a big difference. They're not building the tools to actually host stuff.
I still think that there's a large portion of investors that just don't think that cloud compute is even important, which I think is very interesting. They don't correlate the usage of and the acceleration of AI with cloud. They don't associate the compute. I think they just think it kind of like comes out of thin air to an extent. And it might be a small portion, but there's people like yourselves that obviously have been studying this, and even me, before this AI revolution kind of came out, I was like, shit, Google's not going away, and cloud is only going to get bigger, which is one of the main drivers why I got invested in Google. Back in when everyone was buying Meta in 2022, I was buying Amazon and Google, and unfortunately, I didn't buy Meta. I should have, but I still did okay. Buying Google it below 100 and continuing to buy. But yeah, I saw a trend that I didn't think was slowing down, and I was fortunate enough to rub shoulders with somebody who works at Microsoft, and I don't know exactly what they do, but they were like, if you think cloud, and this was back in like 2021, 2022, they're like, if you think cloud is slowing down, you just have no idea what's going on. And I kind of sat back and looked at it and thought about it. And then with that, I kind of like had that change. It was right around when I was stopping becoming a dividend investor and really hyper focusing on like, look, I kind of won. If you think about it from a dividend investing standpoint, like I could continue down that path. So I was like, let me challenge myself a bit. And that's when I kind of transitioned to this like growth mindset of like Palantir and Rocket Lab and a lot of these other things that have panned out pretty well. And so, yeah, it's just been very interesting to still see some of the people that are like, oh, but it's going to end soon, right? And it's like, I don't think like, and Steve and I had this debate yesterday. It's like, I've been pushing back on like, to an extent of how much CapEx is going to be there, but I don't think the companies are going to zero by any means. So the people that are bearish, it's very interesting to me.
Yeah, I think some of the size of the deals that we're signing, and not just from OpenAI, but from some companies that are very long-standing. Even Microsoft themselves is doing, what was it, a near $20 billion deal with Nebius themselves. Like they are buying compute because they can't even set it up fast enough. Like cloud's not going away. Even the biggest cloud providers need additional teams, external teams to help set up the amount of compute that they're looking for, which is purely bare metal. Like they have the software they need. They have a lot of the aspects that many of the smaller enterprises wouldn't need Nebius's help for. But the fact that they're tapping Nebius for a lot of that and Iren just goes to show you that the amount of compute is so much bigger than potentially what initially analysts were expecting. By the way, Nebius just got a major upgrade since in one of the reasons why they're sort of having a little bit of a breakout success in the neo clouds is they have a 25% stake in ClickHouse, which one of their largest customers is Anthropic. And so as Anthropic goes from $9 billion to $30 billion, they scale as a major customer with ClickHouse. And that makes up for a very sizable investment for Nebius. I think right now their stake in ClickHouse is like $3.75 billion. But if they double their valuation at the next funding round, that's going to be a major step up in their equity stake for Nebius. So keep in mind, there are some proxies that exist as Anthropic continues to benefit. Obviously, people point to the Amazons of the world and other companies like NVIDIA that have stakes or are selling the compute, but even companies like Nebius have equity positions that are directly tied to Anthropic. It's pretty cool.
So is that your focus right now? I don't know. I know you're not new to these neocloud names. Is that where your hyper focus is right now, to get exposure to that because you think that the growth potential is just there, or are you? Because I know you're a very large NVIDIA shareholder. It's a large portion of your portfolio and continues, I think, to be that way. I'm curious, are you looking for the next leg up in trying to? I guess my question is what is Tanner looking at right now? Are you just trying to get like steady, even, take some risk off the table, or do you think like you said, I need to lean into this and really think that there could be a double or triple out there for me very easily with leaning into some of these particular names?
I honestly think my risk is going up.
Me too.
Yeah, but I think I'm trying to take a different approach across all of them. Like, obviously, the build out and the infrastructure spend, very exciting. I think long term, NVIDIA is going to do well, and that's nearly 50% of my portfolio. But I'm betting on Micron right now, and that's a growing position because of the supply constraints. I think that's going to last longer than people think. They're signing 5-year long, like long-term agreements with some of the major companies. That's never happened in Micron's history. So this is very different than the last sort of boom bust cycles. And also looking at photonics and other, like I think there's going to be a lot of supply constraints that end up popping up. Maybe TSMC, a lot of just general constraints across wafer capacity. I have not taken a bet on any photonics names or TSMC, but those are ones I'm looking at. But I like Nebius, Micron, NVIDIA, and then the major hyperscalers. I don't even really remember your question.
I was trying
to.
to.
I like Nebius?
I was just trying to understand, like, what is your kind of goal right now? Is it really to like structure your portfolio as we take this next leg up to like 1x, 2x the portfolio, or is it taking risk off? Because some people are, you know, because I'm like you, I feel like I'm scaling up in risk as I get, you know, higher up on the food chain. I'm like, I can take on more, you know, I'm not trying to go to zero or anything, but it's like you have a little bit more to risk. So I figure like if you're going to play the game, rather than being like, oh my God, I need to make sure everything's like beautiful and in a row and I can't take on any risk. I view it almost as opposite. It's like, I feel like I can think clearer as I've gotten higher up the food chain, and be like, yeah, this is going to happen. Like, yeah, there's risk associated with it, but it's quantifiable risk and you can move in and out if you're really thinking about it and following it to the point where I feel like you can get hurt, but you can, if you're paying attention, move out of it quicker if something actually happens. And so it's willing to kind of put your chips on the table where, you know, people might not have, you know, same thing with people with Tesla. They're, you know, I'm sure people were sitting there like, it's an obvious thing that's going to happen. If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Elon. And look what happened, right? And it's completely changed the entire dynamic of how automobiles are built in the United States and worldwide. So I don't know. I just feel like some of these things are just, people look at them and they're like, oh, it's high risk. And it's a more obvious thing than people give it credit for.
Yeah, I definitely think my risk is going up. Now, it is like, I think as a growth investor, all my positions are risky. Like SoFi could end up having a private credit bust and they have to rewrite their financials because we're fair value accounting and maybe their loans are not worth what they were worth before. That's risk. Maybe there's a major breakthrough on DRAM, like 3D DRAM ends up coming out and the possibility to have major breakthroughs in memory ends up coming and Micron ends up completely busting. Like, I mean, that's possible. But I'm trying to listen to the people in the space and all I'm hearing is that we have years and years left of major supply constraints. And on top of that, we're even seeing more demand than what was forecasted. So just to put it into perspective, Anthropic was expecting to do about $20 to $26 billion in ARR at the end of 2026. It's April and they're at 30 billion. What are we talking about? On top of that, they are now talking about previewing new models, new products, all of which they're going to charge for. I think the idea that the models were a commodity, as many people said, and maybe people still believe this, but it's actually the opposite. We started out at free models, and now we're charging more and more and more. People thought, hey, we're barely charging for these models, and the pricing is only going to continuously go to the floor. But the pricing, hopefully everything's good with Steve. He's back.
Something happened to the camera.
The pricing's actually getting much better for the model makers. And frontier models, even though there's open source names and there's sort of a divergence between really, really cheap models and very, very expensive models. The frontier models are actually pricing even higher. And then you have like the Gemmas and the Chinese models and all of these that are trying to price to the floor. But what I'm finding is that a lot of the labs will actually pay a crap ton more for a small increase in efficiency or lowering in latency. So anything I'm seeing is going more in my direction of seeing better pricing for the companies that I'm following. And if that changes, I'll sell. But that's why I invest for the long term, but monitor it on the daily. You know, it's not a perfect strategy, but like you have a better, if someone tells me a better strategy, I'll follow it. But like for me, that's what's working.
No, I feel like you kind of have to look at, okay, this is something that I think could potentially 10x. And if it goes up 1x, 2x, 3x, and it starts to pull back 10 or 15%, and you're like, I'm feeling a little uneasy. I feel like you have that ability to continuously monitor and pull or adjust your portfolio, because you're literally looking at it every day, you know, versus some other people, they might be, you know, maybe not as in tune with the markets because they have a 9 to 5 or something like that. It might be a little bit more difficult for them, but I still feel like they, you know, I don't know. I just feel like it's very easy to kind of look at right now. And I'm just looking at Micron, like they went from in Q1 25, less than 5 billion in EBITDA for the quarter to almost 20 billion in EBITDA a year later.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about a 300% increase on EBITDA, like insane. And then same thing with EPS. They went from in Q3 of 24, 62 cents. And then almost 2 years later, $12.20.
And do you know what next quarter's guide is?
I have no idea.
$19.15.
That is over a 50%.
Yeah.
Quarter over quarter. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I can't.
And then Samsung just posted their Q1 like going forward, and it destroyed expectations. Their operating profits. So it even looks like the memory names that are showing off months that Micron has not shown off is proving out that they are definitely going to hit that target, if not increase it. Like even the past quarter that you just took a look at, the Q4, did what was it? I think it was a 40% beat on EPS. And so these types of numbers, like you don't see it often. And the market's allowing me to buy it where I don't feel like I'm catching, you know, just a momentum play. Obviously there is factors of that. Like the stock is up like 300%, but it's still like what, a forward PE of 4 or 5. I'd have to check.
It's insane. Steve, if you want to share, you're 100% right, Tanner. 41% EPS beat, specifically for Micron.
Yeah. And raised guidance by 46%. Like versus
insane.
Expectations.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
but would you touch something like this? Are you a risk taker like this?
Real quick, I don't know how many times I have to answer this. I don't use hair product, everybody. Jesus Christ.
He's just naturally good looking.
Like, I've proven this so many damn times. Anyway.
Would I touch something? I've thought about it. I just feel like I'm not, and I don't think anybody's dumb for doing it. I just don't feel like I'm educated enough. It takes me a minute to learn a new space, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily hate it. I know people have been about it for 6 months to a year, even longer. I just feel like I kind of know my pocket with what's going on in cloud, and it's been good for me. And I don't know. So I kind of feel like I'm good with the cloud guys. That's kind of where my head's at.
Absolutely. Dude, I like you know, you asked about Microsoft before, and I don't think people give you enough credit for sticking with Google during a period that was so insanely hard whenever ChatGPT. Steve, I've given you your flowers 1,000 times. I don't talk to Matt every week.
I'm just saying I'm the one that convinced you on it. That's all I'm saying. Matt
also convinced me.
Okay.
I should give you both your flowers on sticking with Google. I was late to the party on that one. But now it seems like the most brain dead, obvious play, but it was not at the time. And trying to remember what that felt like whenever ChatGPT was coming out with, I don't remember, Atlas. They were coming out with their own browser. They were coming out with their own search engine. These were scary times. Google was like $88 a share, something like this. And that I think could be attributed to what maybe Microsoft is going through right now, where people just have these fears of like, hey, this company is going to be replaced, even though you're not actually seeing the underlying growth of the cloud, the amount that they're reinvesting, the brain share that they have. Like, you're talking about some of the smartest engineers in the entire world work for Microsoft, and people are potentially betting against them right now. And I think you're going to see that same sort of Google fear happen with Microsoft, only to pop higher later on.
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking. I mean, Steve and I have mentioned this a million times. I'm sure you probably talked about it as well. It's like, if you continue at this pace, and even if, let's just say it's a 30 or 40, I think it'll be close to 30% return on capital, because you're going to have to refresh this stuff, and it's not going to be, you kind of have issues with inflation. Everybody's running to the kitchen right now to be able to put data centers. So there's going to be natural slippage associated with any of that, right? So but I think even still, if you get a 30% return on capital, and even if you just do this for 3 to 4 years with Microsoft or Amazon or Google or whoever, you're talking about potential increases of net income of like 100 billion or more in a lot of these companies. And they're making 100 billion ish now. Microsoft, I think, crossed over 150 or close to when it came to ops cash or something like that. But it's like, you're talking about massive increases annualized for these companies. And that's if you're looking at a 30%. Imagine if it actually shows up as 40 or 50% return on invested capital. I mean, you're talking about 200 billion more in net income growth. Like, it's insane. And then you start to think about Amazon's going to potentially put $200 billion on the ground and on the street. Like, 30% of that, 60 billion. They do that for a couple of years. You're talking about 180, $200 billion worth of net income. Like, that's insanity. That's larger than their current net income right now, and they'll be able to potentially do that within 3 to 4 years. It'll be very interesting to see that pan out.
Steve is just in chat talking about his hair. Steve, we're going to find out. There's going to be some conspiracy like the Liver King, where we all find out 3 years from now that you've been using hair products, and someone's going to accidentally see like a background frame of your bathroom in one of your vlogs, and they're going to notice that you have a myriad of hair products, and the whole reputation is going to fall apart.
All right. 1, I wouldn't waste my money on hair products. That's 1. 2, there's no reason for me to use hair products. I dry my hair and it stays like this. I don't know. Like, if I'm walking outside and it's windy, yeah, it's going to go all over the place. But I can run my hand through it like that, it'll be fine. Now I have one hair out of place.
Yeah, he barely touched it, guys. You saw that?
Like,
He does not want to touch it.
what are you talking about?
All right.
Like, my hair
You barely got your fingers in there. Get your fingertips in there, Steve. Oh,
happy, Matt?
Yeah, but you're going again. Like, I can do the same thing, Steve.
Oh,
man. But if I go the other way, it'll mess it up for days.
You would tell I had hair product in there.
Does every guy just have the same hair? Like, I don't know where the part is differently, but we're all just sort of rocking.
Oh, no, I just freaking comb it the same way I comb it.
Yeah.
Is my hair?
Oh my God. If you guys start Hairgate, I swear to God.
Dude, I'm not saying that you're lying, but
not you guys. The chat is starting Hairgate.
It does need to be investigated.
It needs to be investigated. Okay.
Wait, which way is my camera supposed to even be? Am I supposed to mirror? Or do you guys mirror your camera or no?
No, I don't. No, you're actually looking at my room. Like, if I were to turn around, this is how I'd see it. It's not mirrored.
Okay. That's a good point. Is that what? Yeah, I guess that's what that means. Yeah. I don't know anything about mirroring. I'm not good with computers. I'm not smart. I'm trying to learn everything from Tanner.
Okay. I promise everybody, I am never going to start vlogging. Get ready with me. I promise you that's never going to happen. Okay. There's a
Get ready with me with
0% chance.
Stephen Fiorillo. Get ready with me.
Get
Steve's
ready with
like,
me.
I
is
had
not becoming a thing.
today I'm putting on this.
Yeah. That's great.
Oh my God.
And
So-
in the mornings I use a scraper to get the swelling out from underneath my eyes, and I use this sort of cream.
He's got those roller things.
Yeah, it's just because you're rolling out. I would watch it, Steve.
We're paying attention.
I'd watch you go through a stroll yelling through Midtown to go get a Sandy.
Oh, listen, you get me in Midtown. Who knows what's coming out of my mouth?
I mean, you need. I think that's what you need. I think you need a selfie stick, and you just need to walk around Midtown, being like, "I'm going to get a sandwich, and I just needed to vent real quick."
You know, that could happen. I mean, everybody already knows what happens when I'm in the city. Freaking, I go crazy because people cut me off. It's no good.
People stop them. They want photos.
No, that's never happened.
Not yet. It'll
That's
happen.
not happened.
Steven?
So the real question is, do we think
Steven?
this rally has staying power for tomorrow? Or do we think this becomes a sell the news moment?
I'm asking you. You guys are the macro guys. I just,
So here's my thing. Who the hell are we negotiating with? Like, that's my question. Like, who, and I'm not just saying that just to say it. The reality is, at least in my brain, whoever we're negotiating with out over there, do they really have control over all the different tribal groups and all the rebels? I don't know. I mean, how many layers have been taken out? So you're telling me that over the past couple of days, they've been able to talk with everybody and say, hey, no firing in the strait?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, fingers crossed that prior to this engagement, this is a hopeful hypothetical. Prior to this engagement, there was likely a organizational chart or like a hierarchical chart created, and hopefully when they talk about it, that they basically, at least they're talking about the third layer of leadership. Hopefully they know specifically like whom they're talking to. It's not something that they're doing by fire. Hopefully it's a group of individuals that they have like knowingly known that are going to come into power. I don't know. That's a really good question, Steve. I've had that same sort of thought as well as to who exactly are they negotiating with, and who knows if they're just saying X, Y, or Z to be able to get the U.S. out of their hair for a couple months to be able to kind of reignite the same sort of ambitions that the first tranche of leaders had.
So before we keep going, thank you, Uncompromised. One, I think you sent this when we were talking about all the different data centers and stuff. I think what's going to power all this: hydrogen, nuclear, solar. I think natural gas, nuclear, solar. But that's just my thoughts. Matt, I have no idea what's going to happen. I really don't know who we're negotiating with. And my fear is that we have peace talks right now, but overnight, maybe not our overnight because it's day there, but when it's overnight tomorrow over there, somebody fires or somebody just fire. What happens if a missile hits a tanker, over the next couple of days? Like, there's so much shaky ground right now. I don't believe that they're in control of the country, because think about the instability over there right now with everything that's happened. How could they have control?
It's all very hard at least for me, to, discern what is truth and what isn't. Like they said that they essentially leveled Iran's military capabilities, and then there's a massive missile raid on Israel right now, and it's like, okay, well, where did that come from? Like, they said that they were communicating via children and pieces of paper, but they can do massive missile raids on Israel. So it's very hard for me to know the truth here.
Yeah, look, the reality is we don't know. Like, anybody who says they know, they don't know. It's all a guess at this point. So I think we got to see how the next couple of days play out. I wouldn't be surprised if the rally holds tomorrow and then sells off on Thursday into Friday just to see if the peace talks stay in place. And if no skirmishes happen, I could see the market rebounding Monday pretty big.
So you think there could be an additional rally here?
Yeah, I don't think that, look, if this is real, I think we have a violent run to the upside. I mean, if you look at, and I'll play the scenario out for you, if we go back to trading economics and we look at where crude is, this is going to be the biggest indicator right now. So you have crude, and it was down 17. It's down 1570 or so. If these peace talks are real and the strait does open up and the tankers are free flowing and oil gets back down to 80 and then 75 or lower, we're going to have a violent rally to the upside and be at all-time highs again by Memorial Day. But that's predicated on these peace talks not breaking down and them actually having control of the country. Because, and look, war's horrible. We don't want loss of life. I am personally very thankful that some type of agreement was reached. I don't want 92 million people being without electricity. Okay.
Yeah.
Think about what that would do to any country being without electricity, the looting, the rioting, the crime. I don't want that for any civilization. Now, when you think about oil and the ramifications, it hasn't been high enough for long enough to really ramp through the economy and stay there. So if we can get this where 20% of the global oil is back to free flowing and get the supply demand curve back, I don't think it'll be that long, maybe a month or two until oil's at 75 or lower. It could be quicker. And once that happens, now you have a cycle of things that are going to happen. You no longer have the threat that company is going to re-rate guidance to the downside for 2026 on fiscal year earnings. You no longer have the threat companies are going to pull guidance. You now have the potential for rate cuts back on the table in the second half of the year. These will all act like huge catalysts for a coiled spring. So I do think that the next 2 weeks are incredibly important. I won't be surprised if it sells off into the weekend just because of a what if. But if we can get through the weekend without any bloodshed or without any tankers getting hit, I think we could really rally early next week. Don't forget, fertilizer is getting more expensive, prime growing season right now. This stuff starts flowing again. Maybe that comes down a little bit. I mean, Matt, you would know this better than me. I would just be guessing. The stuff that was bombed in Qatar, how much of that has to do with fertilizer?
That I don't know.
God.
I
I
think
don't do fertilizer. Sorry.
There was a part of it, though, I think, because David Freeberg was talking about it during his the All In podcast last time. I don't know enough about it, but I think there was definitely a part of the story.
Well, a lot of it's natural gas based. So we'll see. I'm very optimistic about earnings season, especially now with potential ceasefire over the next 2 weeks. So we'll see. I can't tell you how excited I am because I think that optimistically, we're going to be in a really good spot over the next several months.
Nate said it was north of 15% of all fertilizer. Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, we get a lot of good things happening if it looks like rates are going to come down. It's great for growth. It becomes a risk-on environment again, potentially. And if rates come down, there's less of a private credit scare. Rates come down, there's less chance of a credit crunch. Those are big factors. I also think you have to have rates come down because, look, the reality is AI is coming for a lot of jobs. We saw it with Oracle.
Let's see here. Probability of easing by December of 2026 is now 40.8%.
You have
42%.
CME group up?
Yeah.
Throw it up. I'll bring it up.
It's 40.8% on the ease for December of 2026. 40. My camera's right in the way.
Scroll
42
down
point-
and zoom in. All right. So right now you still have a 17% chance we're getting a hike.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, 16.8. Yeah.
And you only have a 41% chance we get a cut.
Yeah.
That'll change in the next 2 weeks if this really does hold. Could we get a shortage of hair products? I don't know. But if
Yes,
I
you do.
ever come out with a freaking hair product line, don't buy it because it wasn't me.
Is a hair product index. What would the Fiorillo index look like? What makes up you? Hair products,
Milk.
good cigars. What's the Stephen Fiorillo crime family made up of?
Blueberry pomegranate.
There you go.
Just a private equity investment and farm.
Farm.
Milk-based gel, yeah.
Milk-based gel.
How's your sleep these days, Stephen?
You know, I felt amazing this morning.
Yeah, but you didn't track it.
Amazing. I got to bed early, got up at 6:10 in the morning, felt great.
If you had to give yourself a sleep score, what would you give yourself?
It was probably 85 last night, maybe.
That's awesome.
83. I wouldn't say
Matt
more
is
than
power
85,
napping right now.
but it's getting better. I think the big thing is getting in bed before 11 o'clock.
Mm.
That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Getting in bed before 11. If I now need 7 hours. I can no longer run on 5 to 6. I need 7 hours. So if I can get 7 hours, I'm really good. And I'm really finding it's how I eat really impacts me. So I gotta eat much cleaner.
That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. Even eating close to bed is bad.
I mean, I felt amazing all like from the beginning of the day, and then a minute I got a slice afterwards, and I really haven't had carbs in a couple of days, and I just felt freaking, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm definitely eating a lot more veggies for my carbs and a lot more just clean meats and just meats in general. I used to be a lot more like pastas, pizzas, like the heavier stuff. But I feel like a lot of it might not have necessarily meant reduction in weight overall, but at least the inflammation in my stomach went down very quickly after, not quickly after, but within a week or two afterwards, I could feel just the inflammation. And now, like you're stating, I feel a lot better in the mornings than when I used to. I used to wake up every morning like sluggish and feeling like garbage and being like, ugh. But now I feel a lot healthier. So
Yeah.
When you start eating clean, I never felt as good as I did when I did paleo like religiously. I never felt as good. I gotta get back to it. It's so hard to be as strict as I was. I was strict for maybe 4 months and I never felt as good. It's just very difficult. I think starting in May, I'll be able to do it.
Sometimes I find with diets that I find really weird. I'm not a diet guy, but that
Paleo's not a diet, it's a lifestyle, Tanner.
okay, but that they can be short-lived, like people that try out, carnivore or something like this, like for the first 2 months or something like this, you might have unbelievable changes in the way that you feel and what happens. But a lot of those sort of wean off. And I find that I get reactions going both ways. People feel unbelievable or they feel amazing if they stop eating meat, then they feel amazing if they do start eating meat. And I just don't know if I'm
No, it's quality food going in. Listen, you are what you eat. If you eat good quality food, you're going to feel good. But
that's for real. The only thing that I feel like is a constant across all diets is just like eat whole food, like just eat foods the way that they're designed to be eaten.
But the problem with paleo, if you commute back and forth to work and you're not at home 24/7, or you don't work from home, it's so hard to do paleo. So I think I'm going to go back on in May.
There you go.
Yeah, when I was working from home during the pandemic, it was very easy because like it was just like grilled chicken, like steaks. It was very easy comparatively to like, I don't know. It's just much easier to, I think, do carbs and stuff like that when you're just out and about. Like nobody will just make you grilled chicken and like some easy vegetables that are very healthy and clean. They're always trying to sell you something extremely cheaply made with horrible sorts of oils that make it taste extremely good, but that cheapness comes from a lack of quality. So it's very interesting. Me and my brother-in-law were talking about that very sense. Like I feel like if you have a perfectly grilled chicken with just like salt, pepper, maybe some other spices, and just like a really good oil, it's probably what it was designed, and like it's probably phenomenal if you have like an actual world-class chef. But instead, to substitute it, they'll fry it and do all this other stuff to make it, cheaper and quicker. And, anyway.
Dude, I use the air fryer all the time. That thing has saved my life. Well, I say all the time. It's not like I'm cooking too often, but for the times that I do, the air fryer has saved my life. And I think like I sort of look at like my meals as like what makes me feel guilty to eat and what doesn't. And grilled chicken never makes me feel guilty. And so I could crush grilled chicken, little potato, and honestly, I mean, you could do it. You could do a veggie, but sometimes I don't even. I'm a little bit weak on the veggie. I care mainly about my protein intake, get my carbs, and a lot of water. I pound water.
This Adam James abroad. You don't have to take advice from me, but Tanner probably knows a thing or two. This guy is lean, mean machine.
No, it really is not. I don't think so. I drink a lot of water, which helps the metabolism, but I also think I naturally have a very lucky metabolism, which can throw people off to say, hey, what is your lifestyle choices? Whenever, sitting at the computer and emulating what I do is probably not the healthiest thing.
Well, and in all fairness, you're still young. You're still below 30. I mean,
yeah,
it's going to change. I did not think I didn't listen to anybody. I thought my metabolism was not going to change. I used to lift 2.5 hours a day, and I ate whatever I wanted. Okay.
I know, by the way, some people might question that sort of workout routine. Literally, if you saw the pictures, he did.
And no, but I mean, like, you can tell, even though I'm older, like and I don't work out, you can tell that I used to work out. If you saw me in person, like I'm not jacked, but you could look at me and be like, yeah, he probably used to lift or do something. Like I used to work out all the time. I would eat whatever I wanted. It didn't matter. And then all of a sudden your body, you just can't do it without packing on pounds.
Roto's in chat saying Tanner's a trained nutritionist, guys, trust him. I'm just saying in no way is any of this advice. It's just like what's worked for me. I'm not some sleep specialist either, but I sleep well.
Well, let's not get crazy. You are a sleep guru.
Do you want to know what my score was today?
You should be on. You know what?
Couldn't even guess it.
You should apply. Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you apply to Minect to become a sleep counselor?
I'm not going to, but you want to see my sleep yesterday?
Yes. What was it? 99? How on earth did you achieve a 99? Were you freaking dead at night?
No, I got 8 hours and 20 minutes. But if you look at the type of sleep that I get, it's like very deep sleep, lots of REM.
Do you take melatonin or anything?
No, I'm actually like super. Well, if you, I like I said, I'm not a specialist. but I don't mess with that.
What was that tick up at like the last looked like 30 minutes of your sleep? What was that going up?
That's probably me. That's after I woke up. That's like me getting up.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can see the line where I did wake up, and then that's me continuing the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, rapid fire, real quick. Tanner, let's start with you.
As Steve yawns.
Right, as I yawn. What are you looking at the next couple of days? Are you getting into anything, or are you gonna kind of ride this out and see what happens?
I think I'm just gonna continue my, little DCAs into things like Nebius. I want to continue to buy Micron. If it stays below 400, I'll nibble into Meta, Microsoft. Those are always on the buys. D local's really cheap. Nubank's really cheap right now. So those are the ones. I'm gonna stay where I'm already invested. Those are the companies I know best. And I don't think every day, like some people go, oh wow, Nubank has worked well. What's the next one? And it's like, Nubank is the next one. Like, I'm just going to keep doing the ones that have worked. And sometimes those companies that I still think are working are much cheaper than where they have historically traded at. And SoFi's there, and Nubank is there. And, there's a lot of names that I think are cheaper, yet their actual performance I still think is doing very well. Like we're buying compounding businesses, and yet people forget the law of compounding sometimes. They want to make these trades, but really, I just want to buy compounders. I'm young, like that's to my advantage, to bet on the smartest people in the world and just let them do what they do.
Matt?
And,
Eloquently said. No,
same question to you.
I had a lot of excess cash, to which I deployed on the 27th. And then I just have at the moment money that comes in on a bi-weekly basis, the 15th and the last day of the month. And so I don't really have any money that's supposed to go out at the moment until the middle of next week. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think, what is that, the Wednesday or Thursday next week is probably when it's going to go out. So yeah, we'll probably, hopefully, be able to capture some good buys. I'm still buying Symbiotic, Amazon, BM&R. I've started to kind of average into. Still my Bitcoin, Ethereum buys, Next Decade, Venture Global. I might, just based off what's going on, maybe adjust some of it. I would still love to get my Amazon to 1,000 shares. I'm getting closer and closer every day. But yeah, it's a good point. Now that things are kind of back running, I need to double check what I'm mostly adding to. I think the last I checked, Symbiotic was the one I think I was adding, coupled with Amazon. Those are the two that I'm adding slightly more than everything else. And then just normal SPY. So I think I have a lot of money that just goes into SPY on a every other week basis. So it could be a good time to review now that we are about a week out from that capital being redeployed. But I mean, that's the benefit of having that 9 to 5 and a good savings rate and a decent paying job. Is I'm able to just deploy capital very regularly in companies that will allow me to. And I might get to a place where I consolidate. I can see myself, as much as I love Microsoft, if it gets back to fairly valued, I don't have any particular, maybe I'd keep it as a hedge because it's, a little bit smaller than my Google and Amazon positions. Actually, it's about 50% smaller than my Google and Amazon positions. So I could see myself where I consolidate, but I could also see a place where it's like, why take the risk off if you have the opportunity to be invested in the 3 largest cloud providers, but then 2, they each bring their own sort of other businesses into it, like Microsoft being enterprise software, Amazon being e-commerce, and Google being search and advertising. So they each kind of bring their own kind of flavor to what's going on and their reason for their growth. So I don't know. Tough to say, Steve, but I'm cautiously optimistic. And going back to our conversation the other day, that we will probably end up having some rate cuts towards the end of the year. This helps with this. Obviously, we were talking if this persists, it looks like we're on the second half of this. I've been saying that for a couple of weeks. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I just, reiterating things that I've kind of stated. But if it doesn't, I don't know. I'd be curious to see where we're at in 2 weeks. But I feel like we're on the second half, and with that, I was pretty optimistic that we were going to see oil go back below $80, and I feel like we'll still see that. And if that's the case, I don't see a reason why we couldn't have cuts. But at the same time, I can understand why we don't have cuts just in general. I think you and I were kind of at a different spot there, Steve, with respect to cuts. Unless you really have a very bullish Fed kind of coming in with Donnie's appointee, etc., I could see a reason why we've been addicted to cheap interest rates, and we actually don't raise rates, because historically these are still really low rates comparatively to where we were in the 90s. So
yeah, I'm not looking to make any moves at the moment. I do have capital to deploy. I am currently sitting on my hands. Looks like I made the wrong decision. I said I didn't want to deploy anything until at least Wednesday, because today could have went either way. There's no way to know, and this could be a head fake. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, the bottom's in. I'm not saying it. A lot of people want me to say it. I'm not saying it, because the reality is we don't know who we're negotiating with. And whoever's making decisions, we don't know if they actually have control of the country. And I hope.
But the U.S. could be much more certain than the information that we have.
100%. And I hope that this is the real deal. I hope that this is a real ceasefire. I don't want any more bloodshed. If I don't capture the very bottom, all right, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a lot of companies that I still want to add to. And a couple of up days isn't going to kill my long-term perspective. If I buy more Zeta at 17 instead of 15, oh well. I still think it's massively undervalued. If I buy more Microsoft at 400 instead of 360, oh well. I still think its fair value is over 500. So I think that there's very tactical moves to make. I think there's a lot of companies that are undervalued. I wanted to buy more SoFi. I didn't. I also don't know if this is going to reverse in the next couple of days. I would feel much better buying next week if no conflict happens, because I'd be way more confident that the macro starts to shift. I do think that if we don't get any unwanted attacks this earnings season, we're not going to see guidance pulled, and that's going to be the big thing. And when it comes to debt, we do need rates to come down a little bit more. Too many companies borrowed at low rates, and when you have terming debt issued at higher rates now, that compresses profit margins. We don't want to see that. Also, cost of debt, carrying costs on consumers, on credit cards. If you look at car loans, it's really not a good situation out there. So I would like rates at 2.5%. That's where I think the sweet spot is. I also would like the U.S. to be able to issue new debt, pay off higher yielding debt. So the one area that I am looking at that I don't really own a lot in is defense. Did you guys see what the proposal for the defense budget is for 27?
No, but I think I'm well
You're
positioned.
well positioned. You're well positioned, Matt. $1.4 trillion.
And what was it for 26?
800, 900.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus.
It's going up by 400 billion or 450 billion, something like that. So if they approve it, or if they get anywhere close to that, okay, you're going to see defense companies go haywire.
How long do we have to wait till part of the defense budget is buying NVIDIA GPUs?
Mhm.
You think that's now?
I don't know. I mean, the biggest thing that they're going to do is Golden Dome. I mean, that they have server farms everywhere, but how much of their server farms is actually NVIDIA GPUs or not? I have no idea.
Can I ask a question, Steve? So I'm trying to follow, but I feel like what you're saying is a little bit contradictory. You're saying, like, the thing that I'm trying to understand is, like, you're saying what's the difference between buying at 15 or waiting till it gets to 17 for Zeta? And so I'm just trying to understand. It's like you have an opportunity now where prices are cheap. Like, I feel like if your true honest opinion is to just continue to buy stock, why wouldn't you have bought? Why wait until an arbitrary timeline of like Wednesday? Is it just a feel good, or is it because I feel like what I'm hearing come out of your mouth on one side is, stock prices are cheap, so it's okay to kind of wait, and it's like, well, you have that now versus waiting a week. Do you think that there's just another leg down? Like, I'm trying to understand. You kind of had a bird in the hand, and you're kind of letting it go versus waiting a week or two.
Yeah,
I
what
mean,
the heck
look,
is wrong with you, Steve?
I know, crazy. It's not like I haven't deployed capital. I mean, I was buying NVIDIA over the past 2 weeks. I bought it on one of the most red days the market's had over the past several months.
It is true.
And it's not like I haven't been deploying capital. My thing is, right now, I didn't want to play chicken with the announcement tonight, especially after what he posted over the weekend. A lot of people thought the taco was going to happen, but I wouldn't consider this a taco. Nothing chickened out. Okay. This was just the decision everybody wanted to see because we don't want bloodshed. So I want to see if this holds, because if it doesn't hold, the markets could go under 6,000 on S&P. It's going to depend on oil. Like, I'm not opposed to buying now. I'm just waiting for a couple days. I've already deployed a bunch of capital.
Okay, so I see what you're saying. So you're just saying you're at a spot right now where you're comfortable with the amount of capital you've deployed. What I was trying to understand is, like, you were almost like, anyway, you gave me clarity. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't have to get everything at the very bottom. Would yesterday have been a much better day to buy than right now? Absolutely. But this could also fade. Like, for the long term, whether you buy at 15 or 17 doesn't matter. If you're a long-term investor. I'm a long-term investor. I'm not a trader. So
what I'm hearing is the way I'm interpreting it, and I'm curious if I'm interpreting what you're saying, because sometimes it's better to play it back. It's like you've already deployed enough capital where you're comfortable right now. You still want to make sure that you don't have zero capital, so that if things do continue to persist, you have that opportunity to continue to DCA in that time. But you're also okay with if it, say, does kind of stay flat here or go up, and you have more certainty to let some of that capital go, but you feel sufficient with the capital you've already deployed, is what I'm hearing.
yeah, at this point, I want to see if this holds tomorrow before I get my mind in the mindset of deploying the rest of the stuff I want to deploy. That's all.
I'm fully deployed practically, so I'm buying, but it's not like a, it's sometimes where, like, you have a strategy for your cash, but the cash is not even like not marginal. How do you say, like, material? Like, it's not going to make a difference. So maybe you can get smart with some of it, where you're like, oh, I'll try to buy it if it ends up falling below this price, but regardless, it's just having fun.
Well,
have you guys seen the Kanye thing in SoFi Stadium?
It was wild.
Did you see this, Steve?
no, I'm not listening to Kanye.
I get that.
I'm still boycotting.
I understand that.
Yep.
And
You're
rightfully
boycotting
so.
Kanye?
I'm not here to support Nazi stuff or whatever. But
yeah, I mean, listen, do I want to boycott? I mean, I actually really liked his older music, but I gotta boycott him. I mean, it's just can't support him.
He literally found out that about all the drama with Kanye like a month ago. So it's fresh.
I get it.
But if you could share this, Steve, this was him Kanye, and this is what he said. Let me know if I should make this my intro in my next video.
Can we not play it?
Well, why?
'Cause I don't want to get any dings.
You're not going to get a ding. It's just him talking.
Don't play it.
No, dude. What are you doing?
I'm not getting a ding over Kanye.
He just says welcome to SoFi, MFers. But
I did hear that. Yeah, that was cool.
Maybe
What a
you should
sick
sing your
setup,
intro.
by the way. Like, love him or hate him, that was a pretty sweet setup that he had.
unreal setup. I don't agree with his political views or anything. His music is great.
Look, everybody's allowed to have their own views. I don't care what he thinks. The problem is, I have a lot of friends that are Jewish.
I've got a lot of friends
Like-
friends that are Jewish. I'm probably pro-Semitic. Kanye is one of the greatest artists I've ever. I better not see a Hugo Boss article of clothing on you ever, Steve. You better not drive a Volkswagen. You better not do any of that stuff.
Hugo Boss. I'm missing that reference.
They made the Nazi uniforms.
I did not know that. Okay.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Somebody asked if I'm deploying the only reason why I had so much capital to deploy for Microsoft
It's because if you haven't seen his name, he's real Matt Money, okay?
no,
he's
Steve
not- he's
was
not
whispering into
little
my
Timmy.
ear. Steve
He's
was
not
like,
little
"Matt,
Timmy, who thinks
Steve was like,
Microsoft's going to
"Maddie,
zero.
you're young, you know, you're doing okay. You need to buy a 69 fastback." That's what he was telling me.
You know, I did not tell you that, but I did tell you if you end up at the Porsche dealership, you know,
And what did I say the other night, Steve?
what did you say the other night?
I said I'm too big of a P word to actually to buy a car.
So, and here's where
I can't let the
I
good
would
deal go.
say,
You're trying to buy
if
a
I
really
was
nice
you-
car. Is that what you're talking about?
I was gonna buy like a Porsche or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Splurge a little.
Here's what I would say to you, Matt. If you said to me, Steve, I think I'm going to buy a Ferrari and never drive it, I would say, Matt, do it. Here's why. I know 2 or 3 people that have bought Ferraris as investments. They have gone up so much money. It's crazy.
I've thought about that. I've thought about buying a 2013 Ferrari California T because I feel like they're at the bottom of the depreciation curve. And they're beautiful cars.
Well, Matt, at some point, Rocket Money will get you a Porsche.
Oh, Rocket Money could get him a Porsche today.
I didn't say it can't. I'm just saying at some point it will get him a Porsche.
Matt, is there? I'm sure you've talked about this 1,000 times, and everyone has asked you. I just haven't heard. What's your take on SpaceX valuation? You can give me the 30-second on that.
It's absurd. I mean, just to be honest, I'm very confused about how it's gone from a $600 to $800 billion valuation, which is where I kind of thought it was literally 12 months ago, to now 2.5xing that. And that's where I'm a little bit confused. I'm also confused how XAI and X and several of these other companies have been rolled in and the revenue hasn't gone up more substantially. And I guess I'm confused as to what is being quoted, if that 15 billion is specifically SpaceX alone, or if that includes XAI and some of the other alternative businesses, because they're all under one now.
Right. It could be even worse.
Yeah. So I'm like a little bit, and I recognize that we're probably at the peak, and give me some rope here. We're probably at the peak, if not last year was the peak for the amount of Falcon 9 launches for SpaceX. And the reason being is they're trying to transition Starlink to version 3. And in order to lift the version 3, it actually doesn't fit in the Falcon 9. You actually need the Starship. And so what you're still going to have plenty run life of the Falcon 9 to go forward. But that's been the workhorse of SpaceX over the past several years, and that's going to start to slowly die down because 60 to 70, if not even more, percentage of the launches that SpaceX does is for Starlink. And so that's been a huge revenue generator. Now the Starship will potentially take over for that, and version 3 will kind of persist through. And I'm kind of morphing my answer of what am I doing with Rocket Lab and the test of their SpaceX valuation. But I don't know. I just think it's very interesting. How much more revenue can you generate if you're already generating 15 and then you're moving to a different sort of vehicle? Granted, Elon's pretty smart, so I anticipate that there's a likelihood that the revenue will continue to increase. But I thought it was a year or two ago that they were already at 12 or 13 billion dollars in revenue. So the fact that they're only at 15 means their CAGR over the past year or two hasn't actually been nearly as substantial as I thought it would be. And I guess it goes back to Falcon 9 kind of being at peak, and then 2, they're doing their own launches rather than launching for others. So how much revenue are you generating unless that revenue is coming from Starlink itself? To be, I guess, less winded, it's overvalued. I don't know enough to understand what the true long-term potential cash flow profile looks like. To me, knowing that Starlink has been as dominant as it has been, and the revenue of the entire company is only 15 billion, knowing that Starlink is included in that, if it is, which I anticipate that 15 billion includes Starlink, it makes me fearful for the long-term potential of Rocket Lab, makes me fearful for the long-term potential of ASTS, unless he's given away so much Starlink that it hasn't actually come to fruition. But I hear people talk, and the thing that's very confusing to me is I hear so many people, specifically the people that are in rural, and you being in Canada, probably knowing more people in rural, because Canada can be pretty rural, taking advantage of Starlink, having great success with it, paying hundreds of dollars a month for it. But I feel like it's not translating into the bottom line. So I feel like something is going to drop with this S1, either that 15 billion is specifically just for launch, or that Starlink is not necessarily included in that, or X isn't included in that, or XAI is not included in that. I feel like the numbers that we're being fed right now aren't real. Like there has to be some reason why that 15 billion number that is being quoted isn't the whole picture, because I feel like that 12 to 13 billion number that came out 18 to 24 months ago is really sticking with me, and you've rolled up so much other things into it. There's no way that X is only generating a $1 or $2 billion a year, and that SpaceX hasn't grown and Starlink hasn't grown. And so I feel like there's just something else that's going to have to come out with this S1 that we're all going to be like, oh, makes a little bit more sense. Right. I'm not saying it's going to make it cheap, but it's going to make it way cheaper than it is right now. So I'm very curious to see. Maybe I'll be humbled and be completely wrong, but there has to be something. And I don't think the banks are smart enough to really think that they can charge 2 trillion on just 15 billion in revenue.
Yeah, I mean, look, the problem with the SpaceX for me, when you start talking about 1.75 trillion being oversubscribed and there's so much demand that we think we can push the 2 trillion or more on 15 to 16 billion of revenue. Now, let's say they have a 50% EBITDA margin. So you're telling me that they're doing 7.5 to 8 billion in EBITDA. If they 11x both revenue and EBITDA at the same margin, they still generate less revenue and less EBITDA than Meta, that is a $1.5 trillion company and still growing by double-digit percentages. So how long does it take them to freaking do that? And how much growth is priced in? I don't see how this sustains the valuation.
I think that's my problem is like, if you believe what Chamath was talking about on the recent All In, like there's going to be a complete space economy that mimics,
but they have
industries that are on Earth.
They have to say that though. They're really close with Elon. They're not going to say anything but that.
Well, I actually believe that. I just think it's potentially like near 100 years away, and so
I believe it also. The problem is it going to be profitable? So you're going to have a space economy where you're the only freaking buyer and seller in space. You know what I mean?
Like sending minerals back to Earth, but
Okay. And even if we do that, okay, what's the cost per charter there and back? What's the cost to mine on space? And how do you do it? You're not mining with people. It has to be robotic. So I don't know. There's a lot of what ifs.
Yeah, and I think that that's sort of what created the .com bubble. Is like, I think people were correct in their assumptions that the internet was going to be unbelievable. It was going to change the way people buy things and sell things online. People were going to get jobs. People were going to have fully digital jobs. Like that's what we're doing right now. And I think people are right in assuming that the space economy is probably coming. It's just not going to come anytime as quickly as maybe. I don't even hear people talking about it being very soon. But like, SpaceX is not the only company getting a massive premium. Look at StarCloud. I think that was the fastest company from start to unicorn via Y Combinator in their history. I think it was like 17 months to be over $1 billion valuation. Absolutely $0 in revenue. And what they want to create is data centers up in space. And so my understanding is they're buying real estate on SpaceX rockets, and they're going to send up NVIDIA GPUs and build like their own essentially satellites in space that are data centers. I think that's going to be a long time from now. And yet we're giving these valuations to these companies today. It's pretty surprising.
Yeah, I think the fact that you and I see eye to eye on something being overvalued is all anybody needs to know. Because normally you and I are on much different spectrums, because I'm usually extremely and a lot of times overly conservative because I concern myself with the fundamentals so much, and you're more willing to pay up for great growth companies.
Right.
And when you and I agree on something being overvalued, I just think like something to look at there.
But companies that have stayed expensive, like companies that we've agreed on have stayed expensive for a long period of time. Tesla,
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
Just because there's a combination doesn't necessarily mean that we're equal here.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be interesting. Do we know when that one comes out? Because I'd like to go through it.
Yeah, me too.
Matt, do you have any idea when that one comes out?
I'm hearing rumors of late May for the July potential IPO.
Okay.
And I want to confirm. Sorry, go ahead, Tanner.
No. It is a different topic. I cut you off.
I did want to finish on this particular topic. So I just did some questions to Gemini, and that 15 billion is specifically for Starlink and launch services. Launch services are about 4.4 billion of that for Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy, specifically the commercial NASA Starshield military contracts. And then Starlink is 10.4 billion, of which is about 70 billion of that 70% of that 15 billion that we were discussing. And that's with 9 million subscribers. So that's about $94 a month if people are doing that math. But I am curious as to, is that full year 9 million subscribers? Because I would anticipate it's probably closer to $120 a month. So I'm anticipating that is fiscal year 25 numbers. So it's probably not in entirety. So it probably will grow closer to 12 or 13 billion from that. XAI and X themselves only generate $2 to $3 billion. So overall, you're looking at anywhere between 18 to $20 billion in total revenue. I'm not 100% certain on what type of margins are coming from this, but it does help a little bit, but not nearly to the extent I was hoping X as well as XAI generated in terms of revenue. But I'm curious to see what their forecasts are for 2026, because I anticipate that would show up in the S1.
I'm gonna run. Gonna get some food, have a sauna. It's getting near that 9:30 time where I'd log off, try to get away from the PC.
Yep.
Smart man.
Tanner and I will be on tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah, we have our stream. I just wanted to say to Matt, in May I'm going to Google I/O, so gonna be fun. Got invited.
There you go.
Check out some of the products at Google I/O. So I can't wait, honestly.
Is that in Silicon or what? That's in.
Yeah, it's in the Bay Area.
That's crazy.
That's
Congratulations.
awesome. Congrats.
Yeah. So want to check that out. And I look around and I'm like, dude, so much of my life revolves around Google. It's actually crazy. Like my whole career is built on YouTube and run my business on Google Workspace, do everything on Chrome, search everything. Like it's nuts. They have me wrapped around their finger. So hopefully I can speak to some executives there on any part of the business. If it's well, I don't think YouTube's there. I think they kind of treat it like two different businesses, but yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask, was it specifically for YouTube or is it specifically Google side? Sounds
specifically
like
Google. Yeah.
Question for you. Oh, crap. I did just skip my mind. I don't know why.
You know what was funny is they did a little deep dive on me to be like, hey, what did this guy say about Google in the past? And they were like, yeah, we appreciate your, you covering Google well. And I was like, oh, I guess you haven't gone far back enough in the transcript.
Yeah, they should be thanking me.
Yeah,
for bugging you and telling you search isn't dead. So.
Yeah, no, exactly.
There you go. I did remember what I wanted to ask you. Sorry if I cut you off. When's the meetup? Toronto.
Oh,
likely August. Marshall's got to get on it. So he's.
So do me a favor. Amit's doing one in August. Please don't do it too close.
Won't do it too close. Why? Are you going to come down?
I mean, it's not that far from me. I'll try.
I'd love if you were there. That would be so amazing.
I would definitely try. You can schedule it for. Yeah. I mean, are you opposed to doing it in July or September? So it's not in the same month as.
You got to talk to Marshall, man. He runs it now. You got to talk. Right. I've got people. Your people call my people, and then yeah.
Never thought we'd be in that space, but now we really are. We really are in that space. How crazy is that?
So crazy. I'm going to make an announcement with the two of you here real quick. Steven, it's not the announcement, but it's a different announcement.
I got to go
soon. I am starting a Substack that I will be writing 2 articles a week on, most likely, and doing notes probably 4 to 5 times a week. It's going to be very interesting. So I'm putting the link here. It is 100% free. I am never going to charge for it. Obviously, there is a subscription if you want to support me. Nobody has to. Please do not feel obligated. No pledge. Everything will be free. I actually was going to make this announcement next week, but I finished my first article. I did a financial autopsy of the AI bubble myth, and I expanded on 2 of the big posts I made on X. So what I'm planning on doing with Substack, since I can't do these types of articles on Seeking Alpha, I'm going to be doing really in-depth articles about certain topics in the market, investment ideas, that type of stuff. So I think everybody's going to like it. It's an awesome article. So I got to refine it one more time, but I'm planning on putting it out on Thursday and having the days for my articles be Tuesdays and Thursdays in the morning.
Steve, congratulations. Can I post this on X?
Yes, you can.
I'm subscribed.
Thank you so much. I got a fake passport. I mean, I may have.
Watch out, Michael Burry. Steve's coming for all your.
Well, he may or may not have been the inspiration about the article "Follow the Cash Flow: A Financial Autopsy of the AI Myth Bubble." May or may not.
That's awesome.
May or may not. So it's going to be some interesting stuff. And if you're lucky enough, if I get to 100,000 followers, I will write this article: how to style your hair so people can't tell there's gel.
I think you're onto something, Steve.
Let me know for real, Steve, like what's the best time to do the meetup, because then if it is overlapping, I don't want to do that, clearly. So
I think that you need to make it a month apart, because if people are traveling, Amit's been very adamant about when his dates are, and I know a lot, and I believe August is Texas, is it not? Somebody in the chat or Matt, can you please let me know if August is Texas?
My girlfriend is adamant right now. She's telling me constantly, let's go to Austin. Like,
Yeah,
not to explore. She wants to
it is in
live
Austin.
there.
I just don't remember if Matt, when's Singapore?
Wait, the meetup's in Austin?
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be a good way to see Austin. Because she wants to literally move there. And like,
oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, we can get married, Tanner, and we can get your citizenship, and then somehow she can get her citizenship somehow. I don't know how that's going to work.
You need a brother or a sister, I guess, and then there we go.
They're both
Matt,
married.
so June is Singapore. I really think Austin is August. So I would text Amit and just
no. Austin's not August. I would never allow that.
When is it? Is it no? They're saying November. What the hell is in August? What's in August then?
If nothing's in August, it's Toronto. Hosted by Tanner for the first time. So it's going to be way different. I'll do my best.
So okay, Hollis is saying Austin is November. Okay,
yeah.
Then what the hell is in August with him? Chicago's May. Chicago's in a month.
Yeah, I think it's the UK. Maybe
is the UK August? Maybe the UK is August.
I think that's the one. All right, I really got to go.
Yep,
peace.
You go do your thing.
Good seeing you, brother.
Great seeing you, Matt. Let's talk soon.
See you tomorrow. All right, everyone. Appreciate everybody being here for 2 hours. We really appreciate it. Markets are still green. Got a lot of things going on. Hopefully, markets stay green. Please go follow Matt at Real Money, at Real Matt Money. Please, if you want to read some in-depth stuff, I'm probably not going to go into on the streams. I'm really trying to put my best foot forward with writing because I really do enjoy it. I've been doing it for 8 years on Seeking Alpha, and this is going to give me a chance. So this article is 3,310 words. Okay. My long form posts on Twitter that everybody says, or X that everybody says I could try competing with Ackman on, are roughly 1,200 to 1,500 words. So I am going long form on Substack. So once again, please, if you like the content, it is always free. I'll put it one more time. Thank you, Matt. It is always free. You don't have to pledge anything. It's always free. So,
Steve, can I just make a comment?
You can.
So, you said it was 3,310 words. That's 6,690 words too short.
I'm aware. I'm aware.
Michael Burry's. I just wanted to. I think you knew that, but I just wanted to double check that you knew that.
Yeah, no. I did know that. You know, I'm not trying to write a 10,000 word thing like Burry. I'm writing in depth and trying to create great content for the people of the community.
I'm excited, man. Excited to watch you and Tanner tomorrow. I need to catch up on his Dan Ives interview. If you guys haven't already, please follow our boy Tanner as well. Tanner does a great job covering the markets during the middle of the day. I was about to say something I shouldn't have about how good looking Steve is. What else was I going to say, Steve? Oh yeah, follow basis points. Do you know you still don't know when this episode that you filmed today is coming out?
No, there is let's just say there's an episode coming out definitely this week, definitely next week. The sequence could change of when each one is put out. We don't know yet. Today's may go out next week. Tomorrow's may go out Thursday. I'm not sure. That's up to Amit. It's going to depend on the content that we discuss, but
it's fun. Something's more timely than something else.
Yeah, the episode that we shot today, I was so thankful for. I was thankful for all of them. I mean, this is just, it's more that I absorbed so much from this because look, with Dan, he's amazing. And we just all three of us ping-ponged off of each other because we all follow those companies. The stuff that we talked about today is not stuff that I really do. So it was really an awesome experience for me just to be a sponge.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, get basis points to 10K. I just posted in the chat.
Basis points to 10K. New episode this week. New episode next week. New episode the following week. I think
Word on
there
the
will
street
be
is you guys have a pretty full docket. So
I think that there's going to be an episode every week for at least 5 weeks. At least. We may do a 7-week run. I'm not sure yet.
Steve, don't threaten me with a good time.
I'm just saying we got a lot of stuff we're doing. So, and people are going to be very happy.
You're the man.
So,
all
right, everybody.
Members only stream.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Until tomorrow, have a good night.
Godspeed.